righty, I got a text this week and was asked to introduce our speaker today, and that was a very special time for me. We are going to have a speaker today that I know each of you are going to enjoy. She's a wonderful teacher. She has beautiful insight. She runs her own center, the Wellness Center, a path to the heart-centered well-being. I pulled your little bio out, by the way. I told you I'd be quick, but I got to say a few things. One thing I took from this that I really liked, she says she's on the path to one truth. And the truth I know is love heals. Talking about a person who's had a near-death experience. We've had a person who's deeply connected to nature, to sacred ceremony. She is one of the most rounded people that I know when it comes to New Age philosophies. And her and I seem to have had a connection over the years where we've kind of had the same experiences, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to finish because I sat behind you at the meditation this morning, and as we meditated, something special happened that you don't know about, but I want to share it with you and everyone that's here. As we meditated, and thank you for taking us there, but when we got to the Violet Terrace, suddenly this beautiful hawk appeared and flew over the top of you. And it talked about the hawk spirit to me. And it was centered at you, so I know today is going to be a very special talk. Carylanne, welcome to the fellowship. Thank you for coming forward with your beautiful hawk energy today.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Gosh, I don't even know what to say after all that. I feel like we could just sit in this bliss that we're in right now. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. It's always my honor to be here, and I'm happy. I'm happy to be here today and to see everyone just being present. Everyone feels very present today, and I really appreciate everyone formulating this service around transformation, because in the past I would have wanted to have my hands in it. I would have called Chris and said, hey, can you sing this? And Sarah, can we do that? And this time I said, I'm going to have faith. I'm going to have faith that Spirit is just orchestrating this in the absolute perfect way, and I just need to show up and do my part, which is what we all need to do, because we each have this part to play in this amazing dance called life. And I have to say that I am really, really touched at how beautiful this whole thing is today, and your meditation this morning was absolutely phenomenal, and I felt Larry sitting in back of me, and when we got to the white garden, I saw the staff of the shepherd, and at first I thought I was going to see Christ, and on the right was Moses, and on the left was Christ. And that's a first for me. I haven't seen that before, so I'm giving thanks for that. So the inspiration for this talk today has been caterpillars and butterflies and the symbol of transformation. And that's been a symbol in my healing practice for 24 years. And I've always been really kind of mesmerized about the transformational process, and had the opportunity to train with a body memory specialist. And the theme of that healing modality is all about transformation, and there are stages of transformation that we all go through. And just like the earth and the cycles and the seasons, there's a transformation that's always helping us and guiding us and leading us to I believe, deeper meanings of life and self. And so at the beginning of the summer, I had the good fortune to go to the gardens in Norfolk right when the butterfly house opened, which is always a very magical time, especially for me. And we saw butterflies there that I had never seen these colors of butterflies before. And then after that, I started seeing caterpillars like everywhere I went. And so I looked up the medicine about the caterpillars, and caterpillar medicine is about new birth and good luck. And the butterfly medicine is, of course, transformation, but it's also about beauty and love. And so it got me thinking about faith. And the faith that this little fuzzy caterpillar goes through to turn into this incredible, beautiful butterfly. This process of metamorphosis that we go through all the time. And so before I go on, I'd just like you to take a moment to close your outer eyes and open your inner eyes. And take a moment to just reflect on the stage of life or the stage of a process that you're in right now. Maybe even the stage of your spirituality. And feel how absolutely wonderful it feels to be you in this stage. And then take a deep breath and just consider for a moment a stage that you went through that may have been challenging, but that you came through, that your faith took you through, that spirit took you through. And feel into that wonderful feeling of when you came through that, whatever that was. And feel that feeling deep in your heart. And then take a moment to tune into your understanding of faith. Faith is a strong belief in something that is unseen, that there is no proof for. Just take a moment to connect with your faith, whatever that is. And then take a deep breath and open your outer eyes again. The other day I was at the Barnes & Noble bookstore, and I was kind of going over my notes. I usually type out about 4 or 5 pages before I'm about to speak, and then I pray a lot. And I ask Spirit to speak through me the day that I do this. And I rarely look at my notes, but I'm really guided to look at my notes today. And so this quote that I saw in this Power of Faith magazine: God changes caterpillars into butterflies, sand into pearls, and coal into diamonds using time, patience, and pressure. And God, the universe, is working on you. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is perfect, because my talk is all about the caterpillar and the butterfly. And I was like, thank you, Spirit, for bringing me to the Barnes & Noble today. And I really do believe that our faith is amping up right now. Yesterday, I had the good fortune to be at the ARE, and I was one of the readers in the bookstore, and it was this huge conference on ancient mysteries, and everyone kept pulling the faith card yesterday. I did 17 readings, and every person got this card. I said, oh, we're in alignment this weekend. Everyone is amping up their faith. And so I was receiving this guidance about faith and how we are all stepping into a new tier of faith. And that Spirit, God, Christ, Buddha, however you relate to faith, is actually knocking on the doors of our heart to fill us with even more faith now than we have ever had before. And that we are able to expand our faith so that we can go forth into greater and truer expressions of who we are, just like the butterfly. So as Larry mentioned, I did have 2 near-death experiences, but the one near-death experience that really was profound that I went through, I relate it to the stages that the caterpillar and butterfly go through. And so when I was reading about butterfly and medicine and just the metamorphosis of the butterfly, I really meditated on that. And I said, well, I was born, and then I birthed into this caterpillar. And we're all caterpillars because we're walking on the earth, right? And this is our caterpillar stage. And there's a spirit inside the caterpillar, and there's a spirit inside of us. There's a light. And then we go through these things in our lives. And for me, I went into a sleep for 2 days. And it was very dark, just like the chrysalis. And I was a little scared, and then I felt the hand of Spirit in the form of Christ take my hand and lead me into this very open space. And it changed everything for me, because I remembered something during that stage when I was in that chrysalis, something that I had forgotten. I had forgotten my connection. And so when I came out of the sleep, I was completely changed and extremely psychically open. And because of that experience, my faith got ignited. And I believe that we all are going through these different experiences where our faith keeps getting ignited, like over and over and over again, like our spiritual experiences, whatever they are, because most people have had some kind of a near-death experience that they just don't call it that. But someone told me that once I started talking about that, people were going to start talking to me about their experiences, and they do all the time now, and it's really beautiful. The thing is, though, is that I came out changed, and it took me a really long time to become a more true, colorful expression of who I am, which is more of the butterfly. And I believe that we all have this ability to transform ourselves. And that when we go through these stages, we transform into our version of butterfly. So how many of you are going through a transformational stage right now? Yeah, everybody, right? Everybody is. And your transformational stage is so important, because your transformational stage is helping everyone else go through their transformational stage. And yesterday, this one person that I spoke to was talking about this stage that they were going through. And she said, I know I need to be doing something else, and I keep starting this, I keep taking this step, but I can't seem to get up the staircase. And one of the quotes that really jumped out at me when I was getting ready to give this talk is Dr. King. Faith is taking the first step when you can't see the staircase. And a lot of times we can't see the staircase. But Spirit guides us. Always. The light is always guiding us. The voice within is always guiding us. So we can courageously keep stepping up, which is what we're all doing right now. We're stepping up into this truer form of who we are. And so I just want to share with you, in this magazine, Joel Osteen was on the cover, and I don't know if any of you have ever walked into the Barnes & Noble at Town Center, but when you walk in, there's this magazine rack, and there's hundreds of magazines, and it almost felt like Joel Osteen was like, "You, come over here." I mean, it was literally like his light just drew me to him. And so in this magazine, all of these, I'm going to call them famous theologians, all said the same thing. There are common themes to living in faith. The first is to talk with God, to talk with the universe, have a relationship with the universe, have a relationship with the earth, have a relationship with your neighbor, have a relationship with your heart and your spirit. The second one is to give back. And I love that saying, give and it's given back to you. Because whenever we give back, we are receiving so much more than we ever could have given. And the third one is to pray and meditate, which we all know about that, so I don't need to talk about that. The fourth one is to be trustworthy. And when I read that, I really felt that being trustworthy is trusting in myself and trusting in that which is guiding me. And that's a big part of my faith, as I imagine it's a big part of your faith. We trust that there is this universal God presence guiding us through these stages, through these transformations. And the last one is to be kind. Is to be kind. And last week I was at a service sitting, and we were given this opportunity to commit to an act of kindness. And so I committed to saying hello to people that I don't know and smiling at them. And I don't mean people I don't know in here, I mean walking out into the world. And I used to do that, but people stopped smiling back at me. So I kind of stopped doing it a little bit. And I can be a little shy at times too. But after the service, I went into this tropical smoothie to get a bite to eat. And this gentleman walked in, and I was like, I'm going to smile at him. I'm going to take a leap of faith, and I'm going to smile at him. So I smiled at him, and he smiled back, and I said, okay, I did it. And then I got my food, and I went outside, and I was sitting in the car, and he walks out. And he looks at me, and he said, hey, how you doing? And I said, I'm doing really well. How are you? And it was like this confirmation that I committed to this act of kindness in faith. And he said to me, you get it, don't you? And I said, oh, I get it? He said, yes. He said, you get it. He said, connection. And my heart literally, my heart literally expanded out so wide. And he said to me, it's not a black thing, it's not a white thing. He said, it's a God thing, it's a connection thing. And I have to tell you, I was so moved, and I wanted to get out of my car and hug him, but I didn't. And I said, God, thank you. Thank you so much. I said, you have no idea how you made my day today. And he said, well, that's why we're here, and he left. And it was just the most amazing thing, and that just happened last Sunday. And so I feel like my faith has been being fueled all week to this moment. To this moment. And it doesn't matter what your faith is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Faith is not even necessarily a religious thing. I mean, we place our faith, and the Bible talks about faith, and I quote things about faith all the time. Actually, I have a few quotes right now. But faith is placing our complete trust or confidence in someone or something. And in Hebrews 11, it states, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. And how much of life do we not see? Like, we're walking in this unknown trust and faith every day. And even more now, because we're living in a really unusual time where our faith and our trust in ourselves and in each other and in the divine is more important now than ever. And to be able to see beyond, I mean, Chris, when you started singing that, I almost started to cry, and I kind of held it in because I didn't want to cry before I had to come up here and talk. That's the first song that I heard when I walked into this church 4 years ago. You were up here singing that song. And I've been looking at the stages that I've gone through and how kind of insecure I was back then. So thank you for singing that today. And yesterday, I'm going to close with this. Yesterday, as I said, I was at the ARE, and I've been doing readings at the conferences for a couple of years now. And when I would first do it, they would say, well, you can read from 10 to 2 or from 3 to 7. And I'd say, oh, I can handle 4 hours. I can do that. And then they would increase the times. And this time, she said to me, well, you're the only reader, so it's going to be from 10:30 to 7. And I prayed first, which is what I do. And I said, okay, I can do it. And halfway through the day, I started to get just a little bit nervous because I had already done like 9. And I went out to the garden, and I stood in the bamboo, and I said, fill me. Just fill me, fill me, fill me, fill me, that I may be a voice for you, that I may be a presence for you when I go back in. And I had the most magnificent afternoon. And I believe it was because I had faith and because I had grown through the stages. I had transformed into knowing and believing that I could do something, that I could do that. And that's what we're doing. We're growing and transforming so that we can believe that we can do what we're here to do. All of us. Thank you.